Hello and welcome to The Print. Joining us today for this interview is Mr. Nara Lokesh, the National General Secretary of the Telugu Desam Party. On September 9, the Andhra Pradesh CID arrested the President of Telugu Desam Party, Chandrababu Naidu, in connection with alleged irregularities in the Andhra Pradesh State Skill Development Corporation. Nearly a month away, Mr. Naidu remains in the jail. Leading the charge in Delhi is Mr. Lokesh in his father's absence. He has also been served in parallel notice by the state CID in connection with another case. So, Mr. Lokesh, my first question would be, did you see the storm clouds gathering over your family maybe a month back?
No, Mr. Naidu, I think a week before his arrest made it quite clear in a public meeting that he is going to be arrested. I mean, it was very clear that this government, by hook or crook, wanted to send Mr. Naidu behind bars. And it's quite clear that in the skill development case, without any proper investigation, without any money trail, purely out of regime revenge, that they have now sent Mr. Naidu to judicial remand.
Right. You know, the case against you alleged that you changed the alignment of a particular road using your political influence. Now, these are serious charges.
Are they? Isn't it ironic that there is no road to change an alignment? If you look at it, Andhra Pradesh government back then, as far as my knowledge goes, gave a gazette notification. There was public hearing to say that this is going to be the ring road, and if people have objections, they can come forward and raise their objections. Now, as Lokesh, I don't even own a square yard in that area. So why would I change the alignment of the ring road? Number one. Number two, I was the Panchayat Raj, Rural Development, IT and Electronics Minister. I had no role in conceiving the ring road. I have no role in designing the ring road. I have no role in aligning the ring road. So isn't it funny that they come after me on such a false and trumped up charges?
So initially you had said you would not be going to file an anticipatory bail, but later you did. Why did you change your stance on this?
No, I've been very clear. I've been exercising my legal right. If you look at it, they've been going after my family. First, today my leader is in judicial remand. Then they have made series of allegations against me, and they have said that they will send me to jail. They went as far as saying that they'll also send my wife, my mother to jail. No, I have exercised my right that the Constitution of India gives me, and I've used this as a strategy to expose that I'm not involved in anything and that they have no evidence against me. That is why, if you look at it in the inner ring road case, they've clearly stated that we have nothing, we'll give a 41A notice. And with regards to fiber grid also, they've said the same. So all the allegations that they made against me for the last 25 days is proven false. And this is a technique that I've used to expose them.
So in the case of Mr. Naidu, the allegation against him is essentially that he diverted public money to shell companies. I think those are more grave allegations, and the police has actually, the CID in its remand note has repeatedly cited that particular note from the state finance secretary, who was the finance secretary then, that Mr. Naidu was in a way bypassing certain rules and regulations.
Before the 2014 election, as part of our election manifesto, we have made it very clear that skill development is going to be our core focus area, where we need to upgrade our skills and we need to get the youth employed. So we looked at models across the country, and in fact it's Gujarat that did the exact agreement with Siemens, Design Tech and the state government in a 90-10 model, where 90 comes in grant in A and 10% is invested by the state government. So Mr. Naidu saw that project, he fell in love with it. He said it's a proven model, it's shown result. There's a delegation that went from the state of Andhra Pradesh, which had IS officers. They've seen it. They've came back and they have recommended that immediately funds should be released so that Siemens and Design Tech interest is retained in the project and we can implement the project. Mr. Naidu is obviously a very efficient chief minister. He would like things to be done yesterday. He insisted that yes, please go ahead, expedite the project, get it done. As part of the meeting, 2 additional committees were also created. The first committee was to monitor the project, submit a monthly appraisal report on the progress of the project. The second committee was created to address where the Center of Excellence and TSDI should come up. So there's also a committee to maintain transparency in the project. Now if you look over the last close to 6-7 years of the project now being implemented, 2,13,000 people or 2,15,000 people have been trained. 80,000 people have been placed. The 6 Center of Excellence exist. 34 TSDIs exist. Kids have been trained. So now they come back and say money was given in a haste by the government, right? Yes, Mr. Naidu is a man who always runs the government in urgency. He likes to get projects done yesterday. I don't think you can hold efficiency and speed against him, number one. Number two, they have not been able to prove any money trail to him or his family members whatsoever. So if there is so-called, what's that you said, so-called a shell company, right?
Shell company.
If there's a shell company, let them prove it.
So
They have not been able to prove that there's any shell company. They're just making wild allegations. While Telugu Desam Party has released all the payments done by Design Tech to different partners, including Siemens. So isn't it unfair now to just come up with the trumped up charges and say shell company tha, so I'm going to take action against Mr. Naidu?
So, in a nutshell, are we to believe that Mr. Naidu, as an efficient administrator, as you were putting it, he put the entire project on fast track, he fast tracked the release of funds. In a way, he also overwrote what the finance secretary had advised.
What was the finance secretary advice? If you go through it, the finance secretary said, let's do a pilot project and do a full-fledged implementation. That is all that she wrote in her recommendation. As a chief minister, as a policy maker, we are elected by the people of Andhra Pradesh, and we are elected based on a certain promises also we give. One of the major promises was skill development and creating jobs. So Mr. Naidu said, we don't need a pilot because it's already done in Gujarat. It's implemented, it is successful, you guys have seen it. Let's go ahead and do a full-fledged implementation. Is that wrong? I don't think so. It's very clear that we stand by efficiency and we move at a certain pace because we were a newly divided state. We had lot on our plate and we moved fast. And if you look at it, any project, right, in erstwhile Andhra Pradesh or now divided Andhra Pradesh under Mr. Naidu's tenure, we used to move with lightning efficiency, and you cannot hold that against him or Telugu Desam Party.
So it's interesting that you pointed out that the same project was implemented in certain other states, including Gujarat.
Yes.
But before the Andhra Pradesh CID started its investigation into this case, the ED had launched its own investigation into the same case.
Right.
So why do you think the ED did not go after the other states?
That's something you need to ask the Enforcement Directorate. Because as far as Telugu Desam Party is considered, the complaint came, if I'm right, in the year 2018 regarding some GST evasion. And that is all we are aware, and nothing beyond that. There is no money laundering that has taken place. So it's quite clear. And in fact, if you look at it, the case was filed in the year 2021. 2 years this government could not file a charge sheet, number one. Number two, 36 accused before Mr. Naidu are all on bail. And after 2 years, you find it convenient to sort of fix Mr. Naidu in a false case, nothing beyond that.
But the ED also arrested 4 people in connection with the case, including the then MD of Siemens India.
Yeah,
I believe.
they are out now. They are out on bail. All their accounts have been unfrozen. They are operating normally. And Mr. Bose was the same person who was there in 2013 when back then the then Chief Minister Narendra Modi ji exchanged agreement. I have videos to show that. So it's the same companies. So number one, there has been no misappropriation from the government, and I would like to state that very clearly.
So I'll stop you here. You were saying when Mr. Modi was the CM of Gujarat,
Yep.
he signed the same MOU with the
Exactly.
same company and the same MD.
Exactly. Design Tech was the same company, Siemens is the same company, and nothing has changed. After that, Andhra implemented. After Andhra Pradesh, you had Jharkhand, Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, and a few other states that have implemented it. And I have all the MOUs now with me, and I can share that with you. So it's very unfair that you're singling out one project to say that there's been corruption. Where is the corruption? Where is the money trail? If at all there was a mistake done by a step-down entity, they did not pay tax, then the step-down entity is responsible for paying the tax. How is the Chief Minister of a state responsible for a private company allegedly not paying GST? How can he be held responsible? Chief Minister is a policy maker. He makes policies and he gets the officials to implement a policy.
So, ever since this issue came up, you have pointed out how the center has really gone slow on the cases against the Andhra CM, Jagan Mohan Reddy. The cases against him are going nowhere. Why do you think that is happening?
See, I have not made allegations against the central government. I am now questioning why, how is it that a person where there's a clear CBI charge sheet available and where it claims that 42,000 crores of public money was misused by this individual, is on bail for the last 10 years and none of his cases are moving forward, number one. Number two, he has asked across all his cases, close to 2,000 adjournments in the last 4 years and 5 months. Isn't that misuse of power?
So, many would argue that the BJP is going slow, going soft on its unofficial ally.
Well, that is something you need to ask Bharatiya Janata Party.
What is your opinion? What is your view on this?
As a Telugu Desam party, I look at it that justice is getting delayed. The entire process is going slow. And I, as a political party, we need to fight this out and take it up with the judiciary.
What makes you believe that the current circumstances behind all these, what makes you believe that the BJP has got nothing to do with all this? Because you have made public statements in this regard.
See, I am a young politician. I've been in politics for the last decade. I believe I at least have another 4 decades of politics ahead of me. I should not make frivolous allegations. I speak on facts. I speak on what's available in front of me. I have not come across anything that clearly states that there is a role of Bharatiya Janata Party in this entire episode. But it's quite clear that the state government of Andhra Pradesh, which is YSRCP government, is going after a person who has spent 45 years to build his image, character on efficiency, integrity and transparency, and going after such a person and sending him to, as you rightly said, with today it will be 26 days to judicial remand. So it's quite clear that YSRCP has done it.
So have you been in touch with your father? Have you had any communication with him? How is he doing?
Well, I've done 2 mulaqats with him. Suppose that I had to come to Delhi to coordinate his entire legal battle. And Mr. Naidu, as I said, is a perpetual optimist. He spent his entire life serving his people, his state and his nation. He has not done anything wrong to bring disrepute to his nation, to his state or to himself. And skill development is also actually an amazing successful project. If the current chief minister believed that there was something wrong, how is it in 2019 a book done by his own government showcased this Siemens project? How is it that in the so-called Global Investor Summit, right, the Siemens project was showcased? So Mr. Naidu has seen all this and he's a perpetual optimist and he has a lot of energy in him and it's clear that he's going to come out clean because he's done nothing wrong and the government has nothing to prove.
So in 2019 when you had contested the elections and which you had lost,
yes,
many had argued that you don't have that fire within you and you are a reluctant politician. And even over the last 1 month you have spent the good part of the last 1 month in Delhi. Why have you chosen to do this over maybe mounting street protests back in the state?
See, first question about my electoral defeat. I have chosen a constituency that Telugu Desam Party has not won post 1985. So I have not gone to a stronghold of my party to contest from there. I believe if I want to prove my leadership skills and my ability, I should fight from a constituency that the party has never won, turn it around and make it a stronghold for Telugu Desam Party. Yes, I failed the first time, but take it from me that I'll win with a thumping majority this time. Coming to your second question, just before this entire arrest happened, I was on a Padayatra, 208 days, 2,900 kilometers I've covered. Out of the 175 constituencies, I've covered close to 86 constituencies in Andhra Pradesh. The reason I came to Delhi is it's very important that I meet other political parties in Delhi, explain to them what's happening in Andhra Pradesh, number one. Number two, and this is turning out to be a legal fight, a legal battle. And if there's someone who understands the end-to-end of certain cases, it's me. And that is what brought me to Delhi. I have been meeting all the political leaders and all the political parties, majority, if not all, majority of the political parties here in Delhi. And I am mounting our legal battle from here. Number two, our protests, if you look at it, are not just happening in Andhra Pradesh. It's happening in other parts of the country. It's happening in other parts of the world. So I have been leading the protests from Delhi.
Right.
And that I think is something unique to Telugu Desam Party, because NTR's policies or Mr. Naidu's policies have touched Telugu people across the world. So they've all come forward, expressed their solidarity. And yes, our street protests are continuing. And the last thing that Mr. Naidu told me before he was sent to judicial remand was very clear that our fight against the government should continue, number one. Number two, we should do it peacefully. And this is something we are continuing to do.
So, did you reach out to any top BJP leader or minister? Did you meet anyone? You have been in Delhi over the past 1 month. During this period, did you have any contact with any BJP leader?
No, I've had the great opportunity to meet all the regional parties here. In the parliament session, I was able to meet majority of the floor leaders, expose what's happening in the state of Andhra Pradesh, number one. Number two, I've had the chance to meet Rashtrapati ji. The responsibility lies on the President of India to ensure that the constitution is implemented properly. And I've explained to her the kind of witch hunt, political vendetta that's happening in the state of Andhra Pradesh. I have not met anyone at the national level, either in Congress or in BJP.
Okay. So, in the event of your arrest, which is a completely hypothetical situation, the fact is Andhra Pradesh is going to polls in another 6 months. So, there is a possibility that the TDP might be thrown into complete disarray. Do you have a plan in place in the event of you and your father both being in jail?
Telugu Desam Party is a cadre-driven party. If you look at 99% of our leaders, thanks to NTR and Mr. Naidu, have all started as village party presidents and have really come up the ranks. So we are purely a cadre-driven party. So we have a political action committee who has already taken up the responsibilities to take the party forward on a day-to-day basis, in terms of a protest, in terms of our activity, door-to-door outreach, and this is the activity we are now going to continue. So there's not going to be any leadership vacuum in Telugu Desam Party.
So I'll come back to the BJP question. So when Mr. Naidu was in Delhi in June this year, he had 2 meetings with Union Home Minister Amit Shah and BJP President JP Nadda, I think, which triggered all this talk about a possible alliance between the BJP and TDP. So, under the current circumstances, is that deal still on the table, or have you completely given it up?
No, Telugu Desam Party is neither in the India bloc or in the NDA bloc. We are with the Andhra Pradesh bloc.
That is as of now.
No, we are in the Andhra Pradesh bloc. And I made it amply clear that if anyone wants to fight against this tyrant government, because we have a mad person as a chief minister, anyone who's willing to fight against him are more than welcome to come and join.
So you are not ruling out any alliance with the BJP?
Neither of the blocs.
Neither of the blocs.
Neither of the blocs.
Because
anyone who's willing to come and fight against this tyrant administration are more than welcome.
So, which brings me to the next question. TDP has been one party which has been a part of many alliances in the past, starting from 1989, from National Front, United Front to Third Front in 2009. Even in last elections, Mr. Naidu was holding talks with all these regional parties. This time, even before his arrest, he had been lying low.
See, Telugu Desam Party historically, since its inception, has played a very important role in national politics. As a political party, we've faced many crises, including the unfortunate dismissal of NTR's government by Indira Gandhi ji back then, though NTR had majority of the MLAs. So we believe that regional parties have an important role to play in national politics, number one. Number two, strong states means strong nation. It's quite clear in that. So as a party, we do play an important role. We do talk to a lot of the other regional parties also. And we take decisions which are in the best interest of our state and our nation. So depending on how alignment happens, that's what decides our course.
So, right after the arrest of Mr. Naidu, the state BJP president had put out a statement in his support. After that, the entire party seems to have gone completely silent on this issue. Why do you think that has happened? Why do you think the top BJP leaders hasn't come out in vocal support?
So honestly, I can't speculate on their thought process. And I would urge you to ask this question to them. And so that's also been the case with Congress. So the state Congress unit definitely said this is the wrong decision of the government. But subsequently, no one at the national level has spoken about it.
So do you hope to maybe ride on this sympathy wave generated by this arrest in the state elections?
See, the single reason why I believe that Mr. Naidu has been arrested is to stop the momentum that Telugu Desam party has successfully built against this government over the last 4 years and 4 months. As I said before, this break, I was in a Padayatra. Since January 27th, I never went home. I was fighting. I was among people. Mr. Naidu was doing Bhavishyat Ku Guarantee, which is your future guarantee yatra. Now our ally Jansena party leader Pavanji was doing his Varahi yatra. So I truly believe that the Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh, Jagan, was clearly cornered and he felt insecure, and that's what drove him to take this decision to arrest Mr. Naidu. So our momentum was with us. There's no second thought about it. And I'm 100% sure that Telugu Desam party and Jansena together will form the government in Andhra Pradesh come 2024.
But the fact remains Jansena remains a part of the NDA. They remain a part of the alliance with the BJP. So how will that work out?
Well, Pavanji, after meeting Mr. Naidu, has made it very clear that opposition leaders and parties are being oppressed in the state of Andhra Pradesh. It started with Mr. Naidu's arrest. Subsequently, Pavanji was coming to Amravati and his flight was denied permission to even take off from Hyderabad. Then he came by road. He was stopped at the border for close to about 3 hours and was not allowed to enter Andhra Pradesh. So it's very clear that we are dealing with a tyrant administration. So we've decided to come together and fight, and he's made it very clear that it's for BJP to decide whether they want to be part of this team or not.
So, BJP is a marginal player in this politics of Andhra Pradesh. It has very little presence on the ground, even in the state assembly. It does not have any MP from the state in the parliament. So, what explains this eagerness of both the TDP and the YSRCP to have the BJP on to be on the good books of the BJP?
See, if you look at our policy as a political party over the last 4 years, 4 months, we have always fought about the interests of Andhra Pradesh, number one. Number two, our support as far as the bills are concerned was purely based on the merit of the bill. So if you believe the bill was right, we support it. If you believe the bill was wrong or we felt was not in the right interest of Andhra Pradesh, we have not extended our support. So we are not part of any bloc. We are in a bloc called Andhra Pradesh. And our support is purely based on issue.
So Bihar has just put out the data of the caste survey which they undertook. And the India bloc as an alliance has been issuing statements demanding a nationwide caste census. Where does the TDP stand on this issue?
Oh, we've supported it. If you look at it, even in the last term, and Mr. Naidu was the chief minister, we said we do need a nationwide census so that we understand who's really, which part of society is really marginalized. One is from a caste perspective. The other part is also from an economic perspective. So there could be people in the forward caste who are economically backward. And as a state and as a nation, we need to give them a helping hand to pull them out of a cycle of poverty. So we've always supported.
So last question. In the elections, apart from this arrest and whatever political vendetta against the TDP, what are the issues, what are the promises that you're going to make? Because Mr. Naidu, when he was here last month in August, he told reporters that the TDP plans to promise free bus rides for women, free electricity. So these are promises which people cannot really associate with Mr. Naidu because he has never been a politician who's been regarded as a populist politician.
No, in fact, I think that's an image made out. Mr. Naidu has always been in the center. He believes that development and welfare are two wheels of TDP's cycle. Just a small correction, we did not promise any free electricity. So I just want to place that on record. Over the last 208 days of my Padayatra, I have seen how people are suffering. Predominantly, one is price rise.
But Mr. Naidu did say he's
No,
going
no,
to
there's no
announce.
free electricity. And I want to place it on record.
Okay.
Because in the Bhavishyatku guarantee that we put out, there is no free
So
electricity.
you'll have 6 promises, I believe.
Yeah. So we spoke about how do we support women primarily and help them because there's huge price rise. So that's where the free gas cylinders came about. RTC bus travel came about. And see, subsidize bus travel or metro travel is nothing new. You've seen countries even like Germany to do it. I believe it's right for a nation like India. So we've announced programs around supporting women. The second program is supporting youth. So once again, I would like to address that because we said we're going to create 20 lakh jobs.
Right.
So we believe development and welfare go together in the state of Andhra Pradesh. If you look at the kind of challenges that people are facing in Andhra Pradesh, price rise, yes. Second is, lack of jobs, both in the government and private sector, because after this government came, because of the flip-flop policies, all the companies have started to leave Andhra Pradesh and no new companies coming to the state of Andhra Pradesh. The kids are really suffering. Third, this government promised a ban on alcohol. However, now the government itself, under the henchmen of the current chief minister, they are producing alcohol, they are bottling it and they're distributing it and selling it through government shops, which never happened in Andhra Pradesh.
Okay.
And this is a major problem. And the fourth biggest problem that I've seen now in Andhra Pradesh is proliferation of drugs. We have become the Ganjai capital of India. Anywhere Ganja is found in India, it's made in Andhra Pradesh. It's grown in Andhra Pradesh. And that really worries me. As a youngster who wants to bring about positive leadership in public life, that is something that I believe destroys a whole generation. And I've fought against it. We have taken up huge programs against it. I've written to the Prime Minister, to the Home Minister regarding it. And I've also escalated at different levels of government during my trip to Delhi. And these are 4 things that I see are the major problems that people of Andhra Pradesh are struggling with.
Last question, you have been avoiding giving a straight answer to this. Thank you, sir, for patiently answering all our questions. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.